What is going on, YouTube? PPS back here. It is 10:30 slot of our Wednesday show. Breaking down a little bit of everything today, mostly baseball, little NBA. Always joined by my guy Monotone Football. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I think our first chat member said it best. What a day to have a day. That's exactly how I'm feeling. We got a nice baseball slate, a nice competitive NBA slate. I was looking through. I always check to see who are the heavy favorites today, and I barely saw anyone over minus 200 besides one or two games. So a lot of competitive baseball, basketball. That's really all we can ask for.
Yeah, no, and we're coming off another good show.
Yep.
OG obviously came through for you. I know Robles, I think, got rained out that day,
Yeah,
if I
he
remember
did.
correctly. So 1-0 there. Brunson, I think, dropped a 40-piece that game. So obviously he is a classic for the Pass the Prop show. Man has been an absolute wagon for us. And you know what was so close, dude? He had 3 strikeouts through 2 innings, only like 29 pitches through that. And then just decided to lose his location, and we fall on that one. So still 1 unit profit on the show. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to get the sweep there. But I had other ideas. So yeah, I already did a video this morning for some early plays. These are going to be for all the late games. This is going to be all the night stuff, plus a little NBA action. So let's just get right into it, right? We want to keep these short and sweet for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. Drop a like on the video if you guys can. We appreciate you guys tuning in early and often today. And let's get right into it. I'll let you start us off with your team here.
Yep, we're going to the Nationals Diamondbacks game. We're going under 8.5. This one has been you have your wagons for all season. I'm just starting, obviously. I'm just starting up the baseball grind. There were a lot of different ways. I wanted to go no runs first inning, first 5 under, total under. I like them all, honestly. The Diamondbacks have started the season 9 for 11 on their unders, right? So this is not a high scoring team we're talking about. The Nationals, on the other hand, have also not really, besides having a guy like Soto, Cruz is struggling a little bit so far, Josh Bell. They've got some guys there, but they're really not producing on offense. Additionally, the Diamondbacks starting pitcher today, Kelly, he's starting off kind of strong. The guy's got a 0 ERA and 13 Ks to start out the season. I'm not sure who necessarily was projecting that. I'm not sure how sustainable that is, but I see pretty good starting pitching on both sides, right? We've got Fetty, 3 ERA. We've got Kelly, a 0 ERA so far. So 2 good starting pitchers. This is, like I said, 2 for 2 in their first 2 games of the series. They're coming off a back-to-back. Or sorry, that's not what we call it here in this sport. We call it a doubleheader, baby. So they're coming off a doubleheader. A lot of tired guys. I just see a low-scoring game in this one. Like I said, no runs first inning, first 5 under. I see a lot of unders. Neither of these teams are great offensive teams. So this one was pretty easy for me.
Yeah, and this is something I've always kind of talked about. I'm not against you on this. I'm just, when I'm on these types of games where I like the starters, I go first 5 just because I hate bullpens. Early on in the season, I fucking hate them. They just bother me. Something about them early on in the season always struggle. So that's my only concern here, but I do like the first 5 option. Fetty finally turned it around a little bit. He used to be a fade guy for me last year. His slider was just destroyed by lefties here. Same thing with Merrill Kelly. That curveball is pretty much unhittable right now. Obviously mowed down the Astros in his last outing, looked great. And obviously probably lost a lot of people money when you're betting on the Astros seeing Merrill Kelly there. And now you have him obviously turning it around. So I do like this spot, and hope the best for you. Obviously the doubleheaders take a lot out of you. I'd be curious to see what the lineup looks like if they're going to rest guys. I can definitely see it. But again, that also makes me nervous that they can bring off a guy like Josh Bell or Juan Soto off the bench, in like a big spot. I just hate the bullpens. That's just my own personal opinion. That's my stake for the first month of the season is I got to go first 5 because I only trust the starters, but I do like the spot for sure.
Yeah, no, I was in between both. I definitely endorse both of them 100%. Definitely point taken.
All right. Now I'm the NBA guy today, I guess. So I'm going over to NBA for my first play. I will have an MLB one here in a second, but I'm going to Zach LaVine over 23.5 points. And yes, I know you guys know I am a massive Bucks fan. You see the big flag right here in the back, but this is just a usage thing. This is just a regression thing, right? LaVine had 5 fouls in that game. Could not get into a rhythm. Still played 37 minutes. 2 for 10 from 3. That is not going to happen again. And he still ended up getting 18 points. And if you guys have played basketball, same thing with most sports. If you don't get into a rhythm early, it's very tough to get into your scoring flow. Is what I say as it is right here. Is he was in and out of the game with, I think, 3 fouls in the first half pretty quickly, then played the entire second half. Obviously, tired legs. I do expect to see Drew and Wesley Matthews kind of interchanging between Levine and DeRozan, but Wesley Matthews still is only playing like 28 minutes. He's not playing like the massive workload that Drew Holiday is. And Drew Holiday, as we saw at the end of the game, kind of take the game over when Giannis had the 5 fouls. So I'm curious if they're going to put Drew Holiday on the best guys here, or if they're going to kind of run him onto a Caruso or someone to kind of save his legs till the end. Because, I mean, he was killing it at the end of the game when Levine went out and he was able to guard somebody else. So, obviously, I think Levine is going to shoot better. I don't expect him to go 2 for 10 from 3. But 10 boards, 3 assists. He stayed engaged in the game even when he wasn't making his shots. If you go even to their games this past season, right, he had a 30-point game on us. He had 21 points in the other one, but that was a bad shooting game too. So I expect positive regression on his shooting. The Bucks do allow a ton of threes, and I expect more than 20% to fall in, man. That's just not what I expect from Levine. If he shoots close to his average, which is mid-30s, and he makes 4 out of those 10, he hits that number. What's this line at? Probably 25.5 if he has a good game last game. This is a what have you done for me lately? Obviously didn't have a great game 1. I'm going to take this number at a little bit lower than game 1. And I think that it's a good spot, good value, and I really like Levine today. I think DeRozan's definitely going to be the guy everybody keys on.
Yeah, no, I think you make a good point. Kind of what have you done for me lately, right? We constantly see stuff like that. You know, it's always scary going against a guy like Drew Holiday, obviously, like you mentioned. But the reason I like this is kind of similar to you. It's a pure volume play, just the type of volume, the type of shots he's going to be taking. Like you said, the Bucks have been known over these last 2 or 3 seasons. They really do allow the most threes pretty much out of most teams in the NBA, right? They're always in that top 3, top 5. And DeRozan's game just does not fit. Like, it's such a bad matchup for DeRozan. Exactly what he wants to do, work in the mid-range, do all this stuff. You've got a great rim protector like Brook Lopez, who, as we saw last game, his presence is so impactful to this team. And then you've got the best help side defender in the NBA with Giannis right there. Giannis might even see him in a lot of one-on-one sets. It's just so hard for DeRozan to do what he wants to do. He's going to want to work in that mid-range spot, and he's not going to be able to. So exactly like you were saying, Levine will have all the opportunity in the world. Bad shooting nights do happen, but that's the NBA, right? They happen all the time. This number, got overcorrected or undercorrected a little bit, and now we're going to take advantage of it.
I love it. I'm glad that you agree with me on that one a little bit there. Yeah, DeRozan's mid-range game does not fit well with the length. And literally, these guys are wanting you to shoot that. That's really what they want you to shoot because they got length everywhere. Obviously, can switch. Drew can play all 5. I've seen him guard Vucevic in one of those situations. It was still fine, right? That's something you really don't see. And also, obviously, Giannis, Middleton, all these guys can switch. And even Connaughton sometimes can switch off too. So tough team to play in that mid-range and try to get into the paint for. So, all right, let's take a look. We got Ben in the chat saying, I think Bulls are toast. Yeah, they played terrible. They played absolutely terrible basketball, and we were still able to come through. I don't know why I say we. I can only say we for the Packers because I'm part owner of the Packers, but I say we for all the other teams. So now I have to stop this we stuff. So I got the Bucks did play terrible in the second half. There we go. That's I can't do that. I hate when people say we, and the only time I can do it is for the Packers.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I have a series bet on, the Bucks to sweep them. I think they're just 2 different teams, 2 different tiers of team, right? That's just how it is sometimes in round 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, I love it. And what we're going to do today, we're going to add in a little new segment here, a little bit of stuff that we've kind of talked about on the show prior, which is like what we're seeing as popular bets and what we're seeing as plays that sometimes we fade the public, right? And sometimes we've been talking about that quite a bit here. So we decided to just, hey, let's throw a little segment in the middle since we kind of have this middle spot where we go over questions and everything. Why not make it into its own little thing here? And so we're going to call it Taylor Fade here. We're going over to Pikkit Sports looking at those guys' lines for the most popular bets that have been placed over there. And we're going to go on if we were going to tail or fade. There's 2 plays today that are getting a lot more action than others. And we're going to toss it over to Monotone here for this first one. We're going to stay in the Bucks game. We're seeing Brook Lopez threes as the number 1 bet play of this game, along with obviously the money line stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. But do you agree? Should that be a spot that we should tail or fade? Is Brook Lopez going to be that spot that you're going to go to here? And I'm seeing him laddered up to like 3.5 threes over on Pikkit.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing that the 2 most popular bets so far in this game, obviously Milwaukee to get the win, right? I believe. Is that what it is?
Milwaukee money line, yep.
Yep. And then Brook Lopez obviously did these threes. I mean, I think I kind of mentioned a second ago, I didn't mean to spoil it or anything like that. Brook Lopez is so important to this team. I mean, there is such a noticeable difference both on offense and on defense when a guy like Bobby Portis is in there. I know the crowd loves him. I know Milwaukee loves him. But Brook Lopez immediately came back and made his presence known. And when you defend a team like – it's so hard, right? It's so hard because a guy like Brook Lopez is going to sit on the corner. What's Vucevic going to do? What's Vucevic going to do? How is he going to get out there, right? He physically can't afford to do that. Brook Lopez gives them the ability to stretch the floor. I see a lot of people laddering it all the way up to 4. The volume is never going to be super high with a guy like Lopez. It's always going to be efficiency, but I definitely think he has another good night. So normally, I think we're going to see a trend. I think I'm going to be the one that fades a lot of these more popular plays. But right now, Brook Lopez is the most popular one, and I support it. I co-sign this one.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of on the fade side of this.
Okay.
The only reason I am is just because I don't know how much they're going to play Lopez. He played 30 minutes last game, and then they bring in Portis as that lightning rod, 20 minutes. He's way better doing that than when we had him starting where he plays like 30 minutes. He's way different. He can play a lot more electric and play his style, right? That's what Bobby Portis is meant to do. Brook Lopez, I don't think he needs to. If he wants to, he can get anything in the paint he wants, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Vucevic at all in the paint. He's a terrible defender, but I don't think he's going to have enough volume here. Obviously, I think Vucevic is a terrible defender, but that also means he sucks in the paint. So it's not like you're losing anything for him going out. If anything, I'd probably take Portis threes because Portis decides to sit out there a little bit more than Brook does. I know Brook is literally a black hole when he gets the ball on the 3-point line, so that's good for this bet, but I'm probably going to fade this one. I'm probably not going to touch this one at all.
Yep, sounds good. You want to move over to that next one?
Yep, and I think this one is the most popular play over on Pikkit. This is the most popular one moving everywhere. It's the top one. I think I've looked through all 3 games. This is the number 1 pick play.
Yeah, and I'm ready to put the fade on. It's interesting. Maybe I have PTSD. I had him in that play-in game. He looked absolutely awful. Last game, he had a better game, but still went very quiet in the second half. My biggest concern with Seth Curry, we say this all the time. We want to be on the same side as the coaches. The coaches' game plan right now is Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, please win us this game. That is what their offensive game plan is right now. Seth Curry has been so uninvolved. Even when he was shooting efficiently in the first half of last game, he still wasn't involved whatsoever in the second half. And the simple fact is Seth Curry's a good player. He's even a very good role player, above average. I'd want to have Seth Curry on almost any team. But the usage that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are currently taking, especially with Kyrie Irving flipping people off all the time, taking ISO threes, angry at the crowd, I just don't think there's enough room for Seth Curry to be kind of part of that equation. So I'm personally out on Seth Curry today.
Yeah, he has to shoot efficient. I don't even know how many shots he had in that first game, but I can't imagine it was many. I don't remember. I watched the whole game. I don't remember how many he had, but it was not many. Nothing's really sticking out in my head from that game on Seth Curry. So Joseph in the chat, really sharp guy there, talking about the assist possibly. Yeah, that could be a spot there. Obviously, when we're looking at Kevin Durant and Kyrie, I'd love to see what their usage percentage was in game 1 because it had to be up there. And so, yeah, guys, if you guys want to go take a look at that, go pop over on Pikkit Sports. We do have a promo we'll talk about at the end just so you guys can go take a look at these. Like if you're wanting to publicly fade or if you want to go and ride with the public, we'll talk about that at the end. We got Alan in here bringing up a question before we move on to bets 2 for us. Do you guys prefer Maxey over 18.5 points or Harris over 15.5 points? Do you have a preference on these? I mean, Maxey's just been playing unbelievable lately.
I like both of them. My preference would be Tobias Harris. I just think he's the more dependable guy, right? He's the guy, he's been doing this. He did it all last season. When you look at his playoff numbers, they're very, very good. I think the simple fact is Tobias Harris is just, he has a more consistent usage. When Maxey comes in, he's kind of like that lightning rod you mentioned, right? He can get hot. He can really turn this team around. Like, the guys love him, right? He's a young guy. The team really loves him, but 18 points, it looks a little bit more adjusted to me personally. Well, I think Harris should be closer to that tier around 17 or 18. So for me, I would be leaning Tobias Harris, but I like both of those guys. I think they continue to kill it.
Perfect. And looking at this, he's around 30 minutes per game. One of the things that really bothers me is only shooting like 5 to 7 shots per game. Like, there's really nothing there for me. Like, I understand people wanting to get that big money spot, but this might be a live bet spot. If he hits his first one, maybe you go and jump on it. But like, if Seth Curry is not looking for a shot, we're going to have some issues here. So, it just kind of relies on extreme efficiency. And I would rather rely on volume than efficiency, because the volume is going to get me there way more often.
100%.
Turbo in the chat. What's up? How you doing, my friend? Joe's talking about over 15 and a half is 13 for 14 playoff games. That's something I want to back, right? When we got numbers like that, that's something we definitely want to take into consideration and make money on while we can there. And let's get to it. We're back into baseball. We're going with a prop for Monotone in some baseball. I like to see it. We'll let you go here.
Yeah, just before we move on to, we're going to be doing that every show, right? We're going to be doing Taylor Fade. Hopefully you guys get something out of that. It's still early. It's 11:50 right now. The most popular play of the day will change, by game time. So if you sign up right now, they'll give you fucking money, free money. You don't have to do anything. They just give it to you. It's very nice. Use code PTP, pass the prop, sign up, and you can see maybe everyone will hate Seth Curry. Maybe they listen to this podcast, they go, I'm not playing Seth Curry anymore, and you can see who the new most popular play of the day is. As for today's baseball games, like I said, I normally do Victor Robles. He's my under kind of guy. I had to mix it up a little bit. This is a 3:00 game, I believe, so you got to get this one in a little bit faster. We're in Colorado. We're going Phillies versus Rockies. We're going Eflin under 4.5 Ks. So, and it's for, not 7.
If I got 7, I'd sell a kidney and put my money on that.
Yeah, exactly. No, but we are going with under 4.5 Ks. In his first 2 starts, he went under in both of them, and he only pitched 4 innings in each of those games. It's one of those situations where he's coming off some injury concerns. He's not going super deep into games, and it doesn't look like the Phillies are in any rush to kind of, rush him back in, right? We saw him only go 4 against the Marlins. He got beat up pretty bad against the Marlins. Now we get a much tougher team against the Rockies, who are actually leading the league in batting average right now. And once again, you're not getting them in Philadelphia. You're getting them at home, which is always a place I love to target unders. What that pretty much means is I'm expecting another 4-inning outing. I don't think he's going to get super deep into this game. These Rockies bats are going really well. You really don't want to get, a guy that's a fly ball pitcher below average at generating ground balls. You don't want to get one of those guys that's also struggling going out to Colorado. It's not a good, get right spot. That's what I'm looking for. Some teams, there's a guy that's down, you want to buy low. It's a good get right spot. You're going against the team that leads the league in batting average in one of the most hitter-friendly parks in the nation, right? So it's not a good get right spot. I think he continues to stay under. I've been projected about 3.8 from what I was looking at. So I think he stays under pretty comfortably in this one.
Yeah, I'm never opposed to fading pitchers in Colorado. It's just Eflin's a weird guy. Eflin has had years where he's become a fly ball guy. Sometimes he's a ground ball guy. It's just weird. Guys usually don't change that much season to season. Which kind of shows me he really doesn't know what his identity is as a pitcher. You kind of have to do that. You have to figure that out early on in your career. Is figure out, are you a ground ball guy? Are you a fly ball guy? Are you trying to swing and miss bats? You're trying to get ground ball contact. You're trying to get double plays. Eflin's really switched. Like, he's like early on this year, he's a ground ball guy, but last year he was a fly ball guy. So it's just so weird. Obviously, early in the season, super low sample size. But yeah, I'm going to go with him from year-long sample sizes, which is more of a fly ball guy. And I don't expect many of these guys to miss too many bats today, both pitchers. German Marquez is not a guy who's going to get too many swings and misses, but he's great in Coors because he just throws the ball to the ground. He throws bowling balls, and that's all you really have to do here. So I do agree with this one. I saw, I think Vaughn was on this one as well. I saw him post this morning too. So always good to be on the side of some other guys that are pretty sharp in the business too. So Eflin under 4.5 Ks. I love it. And I'm going to some plus money again. I'm going to a guy who has been making me some paper, and that is Rafael Devers, man. I've taken his total base quite a bit. I've taken his home runs quite a bit. And he has just been absolute money for me. I believe I'm 4-2 with him on the season. But two of them, I think one of those I ended up posting for free, and he ended up losing for me. So now he's got to come back and get me this money. He has I love this matchup. I love this matchup against Jose Barrios today, where Jose Barrios is much worse versus lefties. Obviously, Devers is the best lefty in this lineup, and I don't really think it's close, obviously. I mean, you really only have to fight with Verdugo probably from the left side. Last year's numbers, he was giving up a 254 batting average to lefties and a 193 to righties. So obviously a very stark difference. But if you look at this year's, he's obviously had that awful outing against Texas where he had no strikeouts. I think his left-handed ERA right now, or his ERA at that home game was 108. He had a 556 batting average against lefties this season, obviously very skewed by that one game. But it just shows you that his stuff does not fit well facing off against left-handed batters. When you look into his arsenal, right, he's throwing a four-seam fastball, curveball, sinker, changeup. Usually when you hear that, you're like, oh, this actually might work well because you have two pitches that are going away from the left-handed bats, inducing ground balls. But if you look at this, his sinker is getting – the batting average against his sinker is 550. That is absolutely absurd, right? When you look at the last year's numbers, it was 230. So that means he's just leaving the ball up in the zones, not getting enough run down. And if you're going to throw a sinker, which is going to be about 2 or 3 miles an hour slower than his four-seam, to a guy like Devers, that ball is not going to be seen again. That ball is going over the fence. He is seeing the ball extremely well. Not great head-to-head numbers. Overall, he's batting around the 200 mark against him. But if you look at Devers what he hits well, he hits fastballs well, and he hits breaking balls well. And you look here, sinker, four-seam, curveball. Those are all of his arsenal, right? That's most of what he's going to be throwing here. And Devers hits every single one of those well. Looking at Devers against curveballs, he's batting 375 with a 460 expected this year against curveballs this year. And you're going to show me a guy who's struggling to throw it in this? I'm going to be rolling with this heavy. I'm probably sprinkling home run. Everything he's going to be throwing is going to be outmatched by a guy who is seeing the ball extremely, extremely well. Rafael Devers over 1.5 total bases plus 105. I love it. I'm loving Rafi tonight.
I'm surprised this isn't one of those that's in the minus 115 territory already, right? Like you said, he's been great this year. I remember I hit his home run prop on one of the first games of the season. You always want to look at those, how do these pitchers do against lefties? Like you said, obviously not off to a good start whatsoever. So definitely going to be riding with you on this one. This game kind of feels like an over to me, right? We've got two guys with like 10 ERAs struggling to start out the year. There could be a lot of offense in this game.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I love these two offenses. Obviously, yesterday was kind of a lower scoring one.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Kikuchi would shut these guys down, right? So a couple questions in the chat here. We will get to them, and then we'll get right into our recap and head on out. So most total bases are on most books, right? I'm on you can go – FanDuel does offer them. I know. I've been on there and seen their total base options. But I know DraftKings does. I've been on DraftKings and found that. I know Caesars does. I know quite a few of the main books. BetMGM, all of them have total base ones. Let's get into it. Bruce Brown over 2.5 assists. Anything here? Not really.
He only had 2 last game, but he was very consistent before that. What we saw is kind of secondary ball handler in the pick and roll. Curry was getting more action as opposed to Brown. So I want to watch it one more game. His potential assist numbers weren't off the charts either. I think he probably does go over, but I kind of want to see how they operate the pick and roll. And if he has another good game, then I'll probably be on it for the next one. But if I see Curry continue to service that role, then I'll probably be off this one for the rest of the playoffs.
Perfect. Alan says he likes Giannis rebounds tonight. Do you have any thoughts on this one? Obviously had the huge number there. I do not expect the Bulls to shoot that poorly. I was on the over 12.5 rebounds, super easy. But 12.5 is minus 140 right now across most books. So we're seeing plus 115 on 13.5. So obviously, if I'm looking at this, I'm not going to be touching that minus 140. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on this one here? On Giannis rebounds? I'll just say 13.5.
Yeah, Giannis rebounds has just been kind of a playoff wagon over the last couple of years. You know what I mean? It's something I always go to. So I would always lean the over just in general. He's a great rebounder. What I would say is 13 sounds like the correct number. If it's already 12 and a half and juiced up, then that is a bit high. What I might look to do is I might look to do like a 2-leg parlay, incorporate a safer leg that I like. For example, I like Caruso to have a steal in this game. So mix it up like 11 rebounds, Caruso to have a steal should bring those odds down a little bit. Something like that is probably how I'd approach it.
Okay. I do like those, like having those defensive stat numbers that you see just hit at an unbelievable rate, right?
Yep.
Not a bad option there. Let's go over to Ohtani. Ohtani over 4.5 strikeouts. Very, very tough matchup here with the Astros. The Astros are actually hitting very, very poorly to start the season, but still, even when they're hitting poorly, they just don't strike out. There's very few guys in this lineup that strike out at a high rate. Obviously, Yordan Alvarez is a little higher strikeout rate, but he's hitting nukes right now. He looks very good. I don't know if I'm going to touch that one, especially with his inconsistency in the strike zone. He had a very nice matchup in his last one and got absolutely rocked for 7 runs. Obviously, the stuff is there to get 4.5 Ks. It's just they're very conservative with his pitch count, and he's facing a very tough team. I think 4.5 is a decent line. I think that's where I would put it, and I would be about 50-50 on it. It's going to be a tough one here. I don't have a side. I wouldn't take it. It's just if you had a better matchup, I would take it in a heartbeat. But the Astros are just, even when they're not hitting well, they still put the ball in play and make you beat them, right? And that's something that I do like that the Astros do. So I would probably, if I had to, take the under. But that's just me being a little pessimistic from his last outing because he just did not look good. Turbo bringing up OG Anunoby. I know you were on him last game. Do you have any thoughts on him tonight as well?
Yeah, I would say last game we had a bit of value at 15 points. Now it's at 17 points. They kind of caught on. I might look to just run back the 14 points and Philly to win again, even though it's a 1-point spread. I think Philly wins again. I think they're a better team. So maybe that's how it'll go. But I think there's value. I think there's value for sure.
Perfect. Ethan. Oh, okay. So talk about OG Anunoby. He's efficient in any increase. Yep. For sure. That's the thing about the playoffs, man, is you want guys that are going to close games. We're going to get those mid 30 minutes. Like you're talking Raptors, they're pushing 40 minutes. So I think Fred VanVleet, I won't be surprised for 44 tonight. To be completely honest, like his numbers are nuts. Outside of a blowout, I can't imagine my Bulls keeping Giannis under 25 and 12.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd be surprised too. Yeah, I mean, the rim protection is just tough, man. There's just no one there. And Giannis is a mismatch for every single player. So, all right, we're finishing up. We're getting right on that 30-minute mark. We're rolling right now. First off, let's talk about what we had on our Taylor fade options. I think we were both on the unders for Seth Curry. Fading the public there. You're on the over for Lopez on the lean. I'm on the under for the lean. So that is what we are rolling with for our Taylor fade, new segment that we're going to be rolling every single time out here. And let's get to your plays for today.
Yep, Nationals under 8.5. That's at -110 going against the Diamondbacks. This one's a little bit earlier, 3 o'clock. Eflin under 7.5 Ks, 3 o'clock. Phillies, Rockies. Get that one in quicker.
Perfect. If you guys got questions, better get them in quick. I'm on Zach LaVine over 23.5 points at -110 FanDuel Sportsbook. And Rafael Devers, total bases over 1.5, +105. Sprinkle that home run prop. I'm guessing it's going to be around +500. I think he's going to take Jose Barrios deep tonight. I won't be surprised to see him take a swing and see him on second base for a double here as well. So love Devers tonight in this matchup against Barrios, who does struggle against lefties here. We got one question left. I know it's early, but tomorrow Warriors are only -120 on the money line. The thing is it's very, very tough to play in Denver, right? They're going right into Denver. Tough options here. I understand. It just seems trappy.
Yeah, I lean Warriors, but I agree it's a trap. I don't buy into must-win games that much, but Denver is a big thing. It's just different. Your altitude, it's history just shows it's different. So got to take that into consideration.
Yes, so I do have a VIP play on the first half team total. That's from my other video this morning. If you guys want to check that one out, I have two plays over there. They start for the early slate. Brewers start very shortly. I do like the first half team total over 2.5. That was one of my free plays. And I do like the Brewers to come through here. I don't like the Pirates' pen. I think they're terrible. And I do not expect Mitch Keller to last very long in this game. So I like more options from the pen. I like to fade Mitch Keller. He's my favorite fade of the entire world. He is so bad. So I like both. If you have the option for both, I would throw a little bit on both. I'm only going to roll with the first half because I do hate Mitch Keller that much, and I just literally want to pick on him because it's fun. But yes, I'm on the first half team total over. And the last one for you, actually, we got two, I guess. What's your thoughts on Marcus Smart? I'm seeing everybody on him today, at least on Twitter.
Yeah, I thought he was who we were going to talk about for most popular play of the day, but maybe that'll be later on Pikkit. I don't know. But yeah, Smart. I mean, I like it. The only thing I'll have to say is please stop citing last year's playoff stats. Completely different. No Jaylen Brown. Putting those numbers out, I've seen everyone do it. They mean literally nothing. What you should be looking at was his usage in the first game, which was impressive. And I think he has another good game. Smart is so essential to this team. He's proved it. I think he has another good game. But I do think it's not as much as like a lock, I guess, as everyone is seemingly making it out to be, because those past stats just mean absolutely nothing to me.
Perfect. Of course. Julio Rodriguez stolen base. Oh, that's tight. Obviously, I love Julio Rodriguez. One of my favorite prospects. I have him on my fantasy team. He's in my starting lineup, so I hope he gets a swipe. I'd have to look at stolen base numbers off of the current pitcher that's going against them today. I believe he's going against Dunning. I do not mind that with I don't even know who their catcher is. I think it's Trevino still over there in Texas. So if you want. I have no preference. I don't bet stolen bases very often. So I have to go Durant. I got to go Durant. Yeah. I have to. I mean, you do not see him struggle that bad ever. And now he's going to have everybody been talking about it for how long? How do you respond? It's going to be here. 100% agree. 100% agree. So thank you guys so much. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Quick, easy, lock in the plays. Hopefully make some money with us today. 1 NBA, 3 MLB. Remember, some of these games do start early, so make sure you lock these in immediately. Smash that like button. We appreciate you guys so much. Anything for the people here, Monotone, before we pop on out of here?
Yeah, no, I'm excited for our new, Taylor Fade segment. So make sure, code PTP, download Pikkit, though you get a chance to $100. They give you a couple bucks to start out. It's nice. It's just a good tool to have. Strongly endorse. I think we have a good show today. I think we got some more winners. I'm excited. We went into more baseball a little bit, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, coming off a nice winning day for us on Monday. Looking forward to make this a little bit of a streak, right? That's where we're trying to get, right? A lot of the times early on in the season, it's up, down, up, down. Let's just keep it going. We're rolling really well right now, kind of in a good spot. And we appreciate all you guys popping in here. Turbo, Ben, we appreciate you. And we'll see you guys on Friday for Pass the Prop. I think that's going to be an early one, right? I believe that's 9 a.m.
Sounds good.
Or 9 a.m. your time, 8 a.m. my time, I think is what we do on Fridays. So we'll be here ready to roll. Thank you guys so much for popping in. You guys are the best. We will see you 48 hours. Peace.